Hello everyone. I had an episode on the coup in effect and the general stage, which is always the stage 3, 4 of any coup. Today I'm going to talk about a few facts, points on this, and because the media is not going to talk about it. In fact, I'm going to tell you what the media is not telling you. So bear with me as I go through these points because they are very, very important. They're extremely important. It is also a part of a psychological warfare, what people refer to as a PsyOp. Now, in a decent world with decent ethical journalism, I'm not saying perfect, I'm saying decent, with decent media engaged in ethical reporting, what you will see, there are many ingredients in ethical journalism. What you will see is when they report something, they fact check, but also they provide their viewers, their readers, their listeners, all the relevant facts, okay? For example, if they bring in an expert or they present a point of view, they would go ahead and also indicate the background for that person, full background on that person. And if there are any facts pertaining to conflict of interests, which would translate into bias, agenda, they would state it there. So when the reader, when the viewer, when the listener gets this news, this report, this information, they can take into consideration almost everything or everything and then decide what they want to believe or what they want to take out of that particular report or news article or even editorial piece. Now, I believe you can't find anyone who would disagree with this general ethical guideline that should in a decent world with decent media govern journalism, reporting, news. Now, I have referred to the fact that the left, the extreme left, the New World Order left, has pretty much occupied, had dominated completely the mainstream media outlets, every single one of them, Whatever you think of, that entity is included in that, okay? And that also includes the so-called alternative media outlets, many of them. I refer to them, in fact, I coined the term pseudo-alternative media way back when. This would be 10, 12 years ago. And if you go and trace that term, pseudo-alternative media, you're going to end up with me because I started that around 2007, 2008. Now, with that said, and now that we are talking about bias and agenda, I want to give you a general view of how this left, New World Order left, who happen to be part of this coup in effect, operate, okay? Just one quick example. During a Republican administration, what they do is they are into exposing things like conflict of interests, or if there is a Democratic administration and someone from the other side ends up exposing, whether it's a whistleblower, whether it's a journalist, then what they do is, this is the left media, immediately what they do is they go and dig and dig and try to find buried skeletons, okay, some of them factual, in order to discredit, okay, the party that is opposing their Democratic president or a Democratic senator. I mean, that is always in effect here, has been in effect in the United States for so long, for many decades. But it's never, never the other way around. Now, this also applies directly to this case of these select, certain, a handful of generals who have popped up opposing the president, current president, President Trump, on this riot cases and trying to tell the public that we, the generals, okay, these four stars, 3-star generals, we, with our credibility as generals, are telling you that President Trump is wrong, he is a fascist, he needs to be taken down, he is not fit to be a president, okay, on this thuggery, thievery that they are marketing as a riot, okay? And I'm going to show you how. Because all the mainstream media outlets, almost all the alternative media outlets, almost all, let's say 99%, they have been really pounding this. They have been playing this card. Look, people, look, Americans, even these senior, retired, really respect-worthy generals are telling you that the man you elected, okay, you the majority elected as a president is not fit to be in this office. He's crazy, he's a fascist, he is racist, okay? That's what they have been doing. I will just give you one example here, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and expose them for everyone, for those who are already awake, because there may be things that you don't know about this case that is right now I'm gonna be talking about, but also let's expose one more time, I have been doing repeatedly here, the hypocrisy attached to these criminal extreme New World Order left, okay? This is because CNN has the exact same thing, every single one of them have it, ex-generals come out against Trump for his plans to militarize the United States. And this is how it starts, and it starts with introductory things saying that the generals, not the select handful, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 generals, okay, but the old generals are speaking out against Trump. And they go about naming them, okay? And they start listing them after Colin Powell coming out, and everybody knows about Colin Powell's reputation, or the lack of. The first one they publicized, and they have been publicizing the most because he used to be within this administration, of course, is Jim Mattis. And this was Trump's first defense secretary. And they are quoting Mattis bashing Trump and saying basically he is not fit and that he is going to help the other side defeat this president who is racist. I mean, you have watched him because they have been giving airtime to these handful of generals, okay? And they have been making it look like as if these was the entire generals, okay? And I'm gonna get to that. Then they go and name a few others, okay? The co-opted generals, which I explained in my previous episodes, how it would be part of any coup around the world. In a stage 3, sometimes in a stage 4, they go, this is coup-makers, and they co-opt, they take a few generals. Usually they have dirty skeletons on them. Sometimes they offer them future positions, money. There are ways to co-opt people. I don't have to sit down and explain those to you. I'm sure many of you know about that. But Mattis is number 1 that they have been pounding with the most. And then John Kelly, former Trump chief of staff. Then, of course, we have the retired Admiral Mike Mullen. Then we have John Allen, and he's the Marine general, and then they named Martin Dempsey, former Joint Chiefs chairman, and so they list these 4 or 5 generals, and of course with each one they are counting the stars there, and they are saying how basically generals in the United States are against Trump, okay? Now, they do this, as I said, in a decent world, in a decent place, with a decent or even semi-decent journalism, ethical media reporting, ethical reporting, they would also tell you about who these generals are. Because look, they are putting them out there, they are parading them, and they are blowing them out of proportion, representing all the generals in the United States, which they are not. They are, as I said, they are a handful. Now that I'm going to get to. Now, with my limited resources and limited time, I just spent a few hours and I started digging on these so-called generals. Then I went back and I spent hours for us, for you, in order to present you the facts, okay? On the generals, they are parading that nobody has mentioned these facts about them. Whether when it's CNN presenting this particular general or that particular sold-out general, they never mention it. And as I said, I spent hours yesterday, several hours today, because I want to get my facts straight, and I haven't seen anyone, including those who pretend to be from the conservative side, the right side, Republican, really delving into who the heck these generals are. Let's talk about them. Because, hey, they are currently the headline news. And we know they are the coup-makers. They are part of the coup-makers. Let's just go through some of these facts. And I'm not going to take a lot of time because there's a lot of dirt. There's a lot of, excuse my language, crap on these people. And that is not being mentioned. Other than their stars, they're not mentioning any of these, okay? Now, first of all, let's go to here. I'm sorry, I'm having my notes. I'm not a tech-savvy person. Let's talk about John Mathis, because John Mathis is the leader in this, okay? I've never liked that man. All right. First of all, let's get a few factual things straight. One, Mathis got out of Trump administration as a sore loser, okay? He got out and behind the scenes got kicked out, okay, with a bang, all right? And he also was the top opposer within President Trump's administration. He was one of the top people opposing his very wise, sound decision to move our troop out of that Syria quagmire, okay? He was on fire. He could not contain himself. He wanted us there for years and years. He basically made it clear that it's okay for Syria, okay? The Syria situation, the ISIS, all of which were created by Obama, Clinton as the architects, working for the deep state, working for the New World Order, okay? That it's perfectly okay for this to be our Vietnam. We were already there for 7, 8, 9 years, and we should plan to stay there for another decade, okay? Have our people get killed, get them kill each other more, because, hey, they created the ISIS, all right? Now, he was one of the most outspoken person opposing and saying, no, we should stay in Syria. And we should continue this regime change game that Obama and Clinton, the puppets for the New World Order, started putting in place. And Trump has the audacity to stop this and actually fulfill his promise made during his election campaigns. Usually, I don't pay attention to all these promises made during election campaigns because I usually consider them almost always as BS. Until you get me elected, then I'm going to say, suckers! Haven't you learned? Look at the past. All the presidents coming with their promises. They always want to have peace. They always want to bring the troops back home. But in the past several decades, I don't know how many presidents really have delivered in these types of promises of ending wars, not starting them, and bringing back our troops, okay? It's sometimes, I mean not sometimes, somehow, it never happens, all right? You know it, I know it, they know it. Guess what? As with the rest of their hypocrisy, they are anti-war activists only when there is a Republican president. When there is a Democratic president, they are so hawkish. They are so pro-war, right? And their man, Democrats' man, Obama, with Democrats' woman, Hillary Clinton, they were the ones who started sending our troops to all these places. Libya, Syria, let's fortify Iraq. We had already pulled out a few soldiers. Let's put those back in there because we serve the military-industrial complex, MIC. So this guy, Mattis, said, no, this is wrong. We want war. We want to have our troops spread around the world, causing wars, causing murders and killings, and getting killed and getting injured. That was his known stand. That's a fact. It's an undisputed fact. A fact reported, broadcast, totally, non-stop by the mainstream media just a year or two ago. Okay? That's a fact. There's nothing, nobody disputing this. But there's more. There is some really, really more very important stuff here. Bear with me. Now, Democrats, the hypocrites, the left, they have this, there is this thing called the revolving doors, okay? And we have been having that for decades and decades in our country. And it's a cesspool of wrongdoing, immoral, criminal, treasonous thing. That is what? That is outside interests. The interest that is not, their interest is not part of the Americans, the ones who elect people, okay? The ones who pay the taxes. It's not the interest of the people. But this may be some mega corporation, being Facebook, being Bill Gates' Microsoft, being Northrop Grumman from military-industrial complex, being JP Morgan. They actually, these people go and approach people in Congress, elected representatives of the people, approach generals in Pentagon, okay, the generals within our armed forces. They approach executive branch people, like let's say the head of the Federal Drug Administration, FDA, while they are in office, while they are under oath representing the Americans and their constitutions. And they start cutting deals with these people, okay? They go and they say, look, you further our agenda while you're still in the office, okay? Whether you're a general, four-star admiral, whatever. And as soon as you retire, we've got your back, dude, or woman, you know, Hillary or whatever. As soon as you get out, right now, you're making as GS-13 level in government, $148,000. We'll give you $1.5 million per year, plus these bonuses, plus for your family, these cushy positions. So while you're in there, don't represent the interest of the people. I know I sound like simplifying for some of you who know ins and outs of this notion of revolving doors, but believe me or not, there are some people who don't, because these are the issues that you don't hear many people from the mainstream media or even in Congress discussing this topic. It's very rare because there are many of them who want to keep this disgusting practice in place. They don't want to change. Sometimes people push for certain legislation to stop this because that is in many ways, treasonous acts, okay? They go buy them like they're whores. No different than any whores. And these whores, they go to the highest bidder. So if Boeing comes and tells them, I give you $1 million if you put my contract through and approve it, and then Northrop Grumman comes and says, I outbid Boeing, I give you $1.5 million, the whore goes for the highest bidder. It's very simple. I'm not insulting anybody. It's the nature of this practice. They are whores and they go to the highest bidders. Now, Mattis has been a whore, okay? General or not, regardless of his stars, and he's not alone. There are many whores like him in Congress. There are whores like him still right now within our armed forces. These people don't represent the Americans. They don't represent our Constitution or our interests. They are whoring themselves out so that when they get out, they go to the highest bidder. How do I know? Because look, mainstream media doesn't like to mention these stuff. And you know what? It's out there. Everybody can go and dig it up. He is currently, since he got out as a sore loser, okay, on the Syria issue, deserting Trump and his position, getting kicked out as well, and talking crap about the man who gave him the position, Trump, and etc. As soon as this guy got out, this, excuse my language, I don't have any other way to say it. I'm not saying here to be lewd or use some, profanity, but whore is a word you can find in a dictionary, and it has a definition. So this whore has been working as a lobbyist. A lobbyist for a firm that is a registered foreign agent, that's one. A lobbyist for a firm that is and has been lobbyists for the Clinton family and their interests, okay? He's been a lobbyist for the Cohen Group, C-O-H-E-N. Cohen, who was Cohen? Do you know who Cohen was? Cohen was Bill and Hillary Clinton's Secretary of Defense during the Clinton administration. So he was a Democratic defense secretary working for Hillary and Bill Clinton. Of course, after they were out of the office, Cohen went and set up a shop. It's called the shop lobbying firm and registered as such. And you think of these lobbyists, these firms, we talked about the whores. The best way to describe them very directly is as the pimps, okay? So you have the whores, you have the bidders, and then in the middle sits the pimps, AKA, that's the most respect-worthy term, lobbyists. So Cohen is a pimp, aka lobbyist, set up the shop, and he takes in clients, those highest bidders who bid on whores, and he sits in the middle. Now, whether the client's being Saudi Arabia, whether it's being Israel, whether it's being Turkey, it doesn't matter whether it's being China, doesn't matter. He goes and gets the highest paying clients to get whores for them, okay? I'm just giving you the best and the most straightforward explanation, definition of the practices, the lobbying, the bidders, and the whores. And there is no better description. You will not find it in any universities. I went to them. I went and I attended. I got my degrees, 4.0 average in master's degree in my public policy. Okay, how policies are made, where they explain the lobbies and all the stuff. They never tell you how it exactly works, okay? But I spent 20 years and I can tell you, I have dealt with them. I have exposed them as an investigative journalist, and I'm giving you the exact explanation of what it really is about, okay? All right. So Cohen is a pimp. He has set up his pimping shop called the Cohen Group. And in order to do it legally, he has registered himself and his firm as foreign agent, okay? And of course, his previous boss being Hillary and Bill Clinton, his current boss also being Hillary and Bill Clinton, because Bill and Hillary Clinton have always remained as his clients, okay? All right. What did they do? Whether they planted Mattis or helped plant Mattis from the start with the Trump administration, when he was a candidate, he got Mattis, the mad dog, I don't know, or whether they went and they hooked him because he's a whore, and they offered him, say, look, if you want to get a job with us, and I tell you how much they are giving this man, and it's actually, he's currently making over millions of dollars, okay, both as a speaking fee, you know, Bill Clinton's favorite whoring job. He does that, plus working for the Cohen group. He is making a lot of money. He's making 20, 30 times more than he was making as an honorable, whatever, 3-star, 4-star general. So Cohen went to him and said, we really want this guy out. You help us dig his grave, okay? And before you get out, if you want to drive your price as a whore up, as you're coming out, be a real whore and say how horrible he is, and that you, experienced general, think that and believe that he is working against the United States interest by pulling out of Syria. Because I, Cohen, the pimp, have also several other military-industrial complex clients, bidders out there, and I serve them as a pimp. I've been getting whores for them too, okay? They are not happy with this, you see, because the more we are spread out there with our bases, causing wars, you know, being in Syria, the more the military-industrial complex, the weapon makers and all the related services and the production companies, the more they make money. Now, Trump is lessening their profit. My client's profit is decreasing. That man, Trump, is bringing these people home. He's stopping our involvement in Syria. We are the architects of Syria. ISIS, we created the man. We invested creating ISIS. He's pooping into all that. On the way out, if you want your price to go up, give it to him. Tell the public, because most unknowing public, because a lot of people, because mainstream media don't expose these people, they can't distinguish, unfortunately, they can't distinguish between an honorable general and a whore, okay? So they see them as, oh yeah, there are stars there, therefore, this is a general, he knows something, right? He knows something. If he's saying something, I better take it seriously, lo and behold, not knowing that they're whores, and there's a pimp involved, and there are bidders out there. Am I explaining it clear enough? I know I'm repeating myself, but please, this is a very important thing. This is one of the diseases that have been destroying our interests, we the Americans. This is one of the top diseases that we see Congress not doing anything to represent your interest and my interest and our interest. Who are they representing in Congress? They are representing the highest bidders, through the pimps in the middle. So I think I actually made it clear. You can go and look. The general, one of the coup-making generals, Mattis, he is working as a lobbyist, foreign agent, for a foreign agent registered lobby for the pimp Cohen group, who works for also Clintons. Are we straight with this? You all got it? Okay. He also, as soon as he got, there are other bidders too who got him directly. That is like bypassing the pimp, okay? And there are ways to do that. For example, when they give you the speaking fee, they can do that by bypassing the commission that is going to be collected by the pimp, whether it's the Cohen group or dozens of lobbying, pimping firms. So they hire, like, for example, Clinton, he can get higher, bigger dollars from China and this because he goes, through direct invitation by the foreign country, direct invitation by the highest bidder, whether it's the APAC or whether it's this military-industrial complex firm or that. They say, how about this? You come and we call it a speaking fee. You BS your way through for half an hour, we dine you and wine you. So you spend 2 hours here, we give you $500,000, okay? And we call it a speaking fee, all right? And let's bypass the pimps in the middle. So that happens too. And this guy, this general, the coup-making general, Mattis, also does directly as a whore, because he sits on General Dynamics board with nearly $1 million he gets from them to just put his fanny on a chair, honorary, whatever, theoretical chairs, as a chairman of the board or one of the board members. You know, they have this thing saying, here are the people who sit on our board. They sit, okay? You don't do anything. You sit on your ass. This is a way for a whore to get money, but have some sort of a little bit more cleaner, honorable sound to this action, okay? They call it, let's bring you as a board member. How much they are giving him? They are giving him in direct salary, whatever fee, $250,000+. That's $250,000 to General Mattis. In addition to that, General Dynamics, the bidder, also gives him every year $500,000+. That's $500,000 in stock benefits, okay, in their stocks. So he's getting whatever $1 million from the pimp Cohen Group. Then from this bidder, General Dynamics, he's getting over $750,000. Okay, now tell me how much credibility this general's statement standing up against Trump and opposing him on this riots and bashing Trump, how much credibility would he have? Okay, regardless of the number of his stars there, how much credibility would he have if the media actually included, and it doesn't take much, I mean, I write really big, this is my handwriting, but they type tiny typos, you know, Bloomberg and CNN. It takes maybe half a paragraph, like maybe 5 sentences, making sure the public knows that they're talking about the whore general, okay? Then when the public reads that the 3-star general is coming against Trump, coming out against Trump, they say, forget it. This is not that important because he's a WHORE. He is working for this pimp foreign agent, that pimp foreign agent. He's on the payroll of Hillary and Bill Clinton. Case closed. I'm not going to get rattled because somebody that low, that kind of a low life, so quickly going through this revolving door, okay, and start doing that, that doesn't carry any credence. Case closed. But no, people, CNN is not going to do that. Bloomberg is not doing it. New York Times certainly is not doing this, and definitely NPR and Washington Post is not going to do it. They are presenting you respect-worthy generals, experienced generals, standing by the thugs and thieves and violent murdering idiots who are being used by the left. That's what they are doing. And look who they are. Please let me know in the comment section if previously, if you have common sense, if you're a reasonable person, and if you bought into this man and men like him, whores like him, coming out doing this, do you now, after seeing this, and you can go and fact check everything I just said, every single thing I said, you will not find anything that contradicts my facts. Because facts are facts. I spend hours, and I also did cursory research on retired Marine General John Allen, okay? And he's on the list. He's been on CNN. Bloomberg lists him as coming against Trump, standing by the thugs and the thieves and the murdering violent rioters, okay, the New World Order left. Well, he was selected by Obama and Clinton administration, because I'm talking about Hillary Clinton, okay? During the Obama administration, he was put in charge of help creating ISIS, okay? And this whole Syria situation. He was working with those architects of ISIS and Syria situation, okay? And, here are my glasses. This guy also threw hissy fit and tantrums publicly when Trump announced that he was pulling out of Syria. And he intensely campaigned, when you go and check his background, for Hillary Clinton during her presidential election campaigns. And I went and I pinpointed all the ads that showed him. This is retired Marine General John Allen. So he says, I am Admiral General John Allen, and I endorse this criminal woman, the Benghazi architect. Okay, we know all the stuff with Hillary Clinton. I endorse her. And if you like me, if you respect me with my stars, Admiral, you vote for Hillary Clinton. That's what this guy did. And this guy has been also serving and working for the German Marshall Fund. And this is one of the outfits that's right now throwing hissy fit because President Trump decided to bring the troops from our bases in Germany home. And they are throwing big tantrums about that. But that's another episode, and I'm going to talk about that. He is one of the WHORES, okay? Lobbyists, pimps, you name it. What I'm trying to say here, okay, and I need to wrap this one up. I have several other videos coming. These are the types of general. There are a handful, but the way the media is giving a tilt to this, they want the public to think that all these generals are doing that. I had an honor to receive a response from General Michael Flynn's brother, who is another general, a respect-worthy, a real one, an honorable general, who in response to my video, a message about certain generals are being co-opted for this coup, New World Order coup against Trump administration, he had a sentence made of 3 words, and I love it. I really love it because it's so effective. He said, not my generals, because there are many generals who are working and reporting to General Flynn. He said, not my generals. Meaning what? Meaning majority, over maybe 75, 80, 90% of the generals are not WHORES. Okay? They are not. And they are not with that side, the left, the New World Order, the Coup-Makers. But the media, the way they are presenting this, they want to have you believe that, oh, this is a lost cause. Even the generals are standing with the evildoers. No, no. They are select WHORESs. And they are working for the pimps who are working for the New World Order, okay? And I want to end this by asking for your support, if you can, through my Patreon. There is so much I can do. There are so many topics that need to be researched and then reported to the public because the mainstream media is not doing it. And there's only me. I have only certain amount of time. I have very limited resources. I want to expose these, the pimps and the whores, all of them, the criminals, every single one of them. And I can. But how much one person can do? And I don't understand these foundations that are giving hundreds of millions of dollars to this libertarian organization or this conservative Republican organizations, NGOs, to do these types of things. They are not doing it. As I said, they are these several PhD gobbledygookers. They are going to some room and they are creating pies and charts, trying forecast U.S. economy 12 years down the road. This is not what we should be doing now. We should be waking people up, wake them up. This is what we should be doing. We should be exposing these. We should engage in investigative reporting like this, okay? Objective with the facts to counter the PsyOps, the propaganda they are putting there, but they are not doing it. They are spending every year hundreds of millions of dollars, and the American people, the American public still sit there blinded because the mainstream media, all of them, all of these 99.9% of the bigger alternative media outlets, they are all part of the same outfit. I want to take a deep breath and thank my supporters at Newsbud, and especially at Patreons, especially all the new ones who have just joined me, because I haven't had a chance to thank them, and this is my opportunity for making this possible. I want to do more. I need help, not only in terms of money, but I need to be able to have extra help in spending these hours researching, getting the facts, exposing these, okay? And when I'm issuing action campaign alerts, help implementing it. But as I said, I have a daughter, 12 years old. We are going through some health crises with one of in our family. We are just settling in Florida. I'm trying to juggle other things to help with our household's finances. I have limited amount of time, but there's so much I want to do. If you can, if you wish, if you agree that these things need to be done, please do your share. Take 10-15 seconds, go to Patreon and commit to whatever you can for this monthly support, whether it's $1 or $10 or $50, whatever it is you can. But also put pressure on these foundations who are spending hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know why libertarians, the real libertarian, I'm not talking about Libertarian Party who always were outspoken, why have they been so quiet? We are facing a coup. These are the things, these are the PsyOps, these are the plans. We must expose the mainstream media, the so-called alternative. They are not doing it. Of course they're not going to do it. They are part of it. You and I, we can do it. So please, please do your share. Support us through Patreon, through Newsbud. Also, dial the numbers if you know who they are. I don't even know any longer some of these foundations, and I don't know what their agenda is, but they are not doing what is needed most right now. This is how we're gonna go from 1/3 to half to 75% and defeat these coup-makers serving the new world order. Together we can. If I didn't believe that, I wouldn't be doing this. I mean, look how ridiculous it looks. I'm sitting here and writing this because we moved here to Florida with only 2 carry-ons. I didn't even bring my computer. It's in handwriting, okay? And I'm doing my research through this because my husband has to use the computer for his work. And this is called limited resources. Let's end it again on a positive note. Thank you all. This is Sibel Edmonds, believing in us, we the people. See you soon with my next videos. Thank you.